Hello, friends. Hello, hello. So many good beans hanging out in the chat today and so many wonderful new followers. Thank you so much. Welcome on in, Aries and Sinelli and Annika and Sky, and to all the friends hanging out in chat. Hi, E and Lilith and Menji and Rochelle and Shania and Clyde. Lorf, hello, hello, friends. We do have a little Donuts here. He's hanging out. He's hanging out with us today. I checked with the program and I was like, is it okay if I bring Donuts with me for emotional support for both me and chat? And they were like, yes. And I was like, let's go. So he's having a little snooze. If you don't know Donuts, if it's your first time meeting Donuts, he is a lad of his own devices, so I cannot promise that he will hang out with us the whole stream and pay his rent, as we like to say. But if you do !donuts in the chat, it will tell you a little bit about him, and we'll have him for as long as he desires to hang out with us. But yes, thank you all for welcoming me. I was nervous for my first hi Roro, thank you for the follow. My first stream on the It Gets Better channel, but I was also very excited for today's topic. Excited to play some Animal Crossing. If you are new here, my name is B. I use they them pronouns. I am a queer, disabled. Yeah, it is my first It Gets Better stream. There's like a new cohort of streamers now for the next set of ambassadorship for the next 6 months, and unknowingly I was somehow the first person to sign up to be from this set of ambassadors. So here we are, we're doing the thing. Thank you for the hydrate redeem. We got a little mason jar with our tea today. Hi Roro, hi Toasty. But I was saying, if you don't know me, a lot of you are familiar faces, but in case anyone's lurking in the shadows or is new, I am a queer and disabled variety broadcaster. I work really hard to try to create sensory-friendly, warm, welcoming content, but we do all kinds of different things: crafting, co-working, comfy games like Animal Crossing, Stardew. Lately we've been exploring a little more. We tried Life is Strange True Colors, and it ripped my heart out in chapter 1 already. But it has been very fun, and I very much enjoy the queer rep in the game. Hello, Paper, welcome in. Hello, hello. Donut said, I bet I will take the cutest nap for It Gets Better. He's always cute. I figured he might take a good nap today for us because he was a little stressed this morning because he got locked out of our room because he was being a menace at like 5 a.m. I don't think the captions are working. I think they use like the standard Twitch captions, so you'll have to like turn them on via the like cogwheel. And normally I think a lot of you are used to me using pixel chat captions on my channel. But since it's not my channel, I can't like transfer them over. But I don't know if anyone with the It Gets Better team might be able to help and double check if the captions are doing their thing or not. We cried real tears. We did. My computer actually decided to crash when we were playing Life is Strange True Colors immediately after the really sad moment and not save, and then cause us to relive the really sad moment twice. So it was an experience for everyone. But it was a good time nonetheless. Yeah. Today we're gonna play a little bit of Animal Crossing, which I haven't played on my stream in a minute, so I'm excited. Me trying to refresh after turning on captions. Twitch, do you want to see ads? I always wish Twitch would have like the opportunity where mods wouldn't get caught by the ads in particular, because I feel like it's frustrating for the mods, like sometimes have to refresh to make sure that they're monitoring the stream, and then they get stuck in an ad, and I'm like, that's very rude actually. But I thought it would be cute, before we dive into our talks today, I thought it would be very cute to give you all like a little tour of my Animal Crossing island. I won't be working on my main island today just because we only have a little bit of time together, and I'm a gremlin who takes like 4 hours to just to manage to like decorate one area on my island, and then we're lucky that if they work still, so or if I finish still is what I meant to say. So we're probably gonna just do some DLC, but I thought it would be cute to at least show you all my little island, take you on a little tour. My island is Stardew Valley themed, so basically we based it off of the Stardew Valley map. Thank you for helping Paper and everyone get access to captions. I really appreciate that. I'm not sure. It might be an issue with the program itself. Hopefully that can help. Thank you for letting us know, though. I know that sometimes people just go without them and then we don't know they're not working, so I really appreciate you pointing it out and helping us get it sorted, Paper. Let me go over here and turn the lo-fi music off so you're not getting double the music. Get some Switch music. We'll turn it off in my ears too because it's kind of weird. Good morning, Kale. Hello. I do have donuts, Cam. Hi, Epic. Hi, gamers. Welcome on in. The whole gang is here. Hello, everybody. How are you? Well, I'm gonna take us on a little tour of our island. Some of you have seen it, some of you haven't, although I did some work off stream regardless. But how is y'all's day going? How was your Monday? Did you manage to make it through the first day of your week? Enjoy your lurk, Roro. At work, but here for some chats. Let's go. No worries. I just started playing Animal Crossing again while I've been sick. Okay, everybody close your eyes for a second. Because it always starts us at our house, and then I have to spoil a bunch of the content before I get to the start of the island to give you the tour. Don't perceive. Boop, boop, boop. Making a run for it. Don't perceive. Okay. We got the cute little water rain steps. Oh, but Epic, if your cat is cozy, you can't move. Them's the rules. Them's the rules. Okay, so this is my little island, my little Stardew Valley themed island. I call it Stardew Core. It's not an exact replica, but it's supposed to give off Stardew vibes. So you come over here, and this is our entrance. We've got little island tours. You can take either the moped or the standard bikes, and some cute little benches. KK Slider's in town today, so we got some okay, that's fair. If you do have to move the little guy after hours, you might have to move him. But if you come up this way, you've got like a little pond area. We've got the puppy park, which is in Stardew Valley. There's also a graveyard in Stardew's main town, but I unfortunately didn't have enough room, so that's okay. I don't think it would have fit the vibes anyway. This is Penny's house. Now, obviously, Penny in Stardew Valley actually has like a trailer, but you know, there's no trailers in Animal Crossing. Plus, she deserves better. Let's be honest, Penny deserves better. And this is Penny's little outdoor classroom, because in Stardew Valley, Penny is a teacher, if you're not familiar with the game. So she's got a little outdoor classroom in this whole kind of little area. We've got George, grumpy old man who used to be a miner, so he's got some like old mining stuff in his yard. Very good, very good. This is the first island that I've worked on and not restarted in so long. I have a chronic habit of restarting Animal Crossing islands, Stardew farms, but I've been hooked on this one for a long time, so that's been quite nice. This is Leah's yard. Little Rider Bean in the forest. She's got her little area, have a little picnic, do some riding, and she's got her little writer's nook on the beach. I am a pro at the beginning of games and nothing else. An issue with the original CC we use right now. I installed another, but it might need to pick up your mic separately to display the CC on the stream through a browser. Okay, is there something in specific that I should click into so that it can pick that up? But yes, she's got lots of trees in her yard so that it can give you the forest-esque vibes. And then this is Shane's house. Just DM'd you? Okay, let me get the caption sorted, y'all, real quick. Let me just open Discord. Pix, thank you for the follow, friend. Welcome on into the hive. Authorize. Okay. And then start. I think it should be working now. I see it picking up my captions on the website at least, so hopefully if someone wants to let me know if those are working now, that would be awesome. Hi Pix, welcome in. How are you today? So this is Shane's little island, or Shane's little farm. Words are escaping me today, I swear. And then my favorite little bit, I think, is the farm. I mean, it is a Stardew Core island. You gotta have a good farm. So I built this little farm, and it has all of the different kinds of garden items you can get, and separated by these cute little gazebos and a little bee farm. I had to have a little bee farm on my island because I'm bee, of course. Although Toasty, I'm sure, will run to tell you, and I'll tell you first, so they can't steal it and tell you that I am actually afraid of bees in real life, which is the funny part. And then those of you who caught our last stream, we worked on this railroad station. There's like railroad station here, and it's supposed to look kind of like it's like not operating right now. It's just it's little all this red tape to let you know, like, caution, like you can't actually ride this, but it's here. It's under construction. Ignore my mess. Don't perceive. It could be me. Okay, that sounds good. Can I get through here? I might have designed this. I just built this part the other day, so I might have made this so I can't actually get out. It's okay. I'll sneak out this way. Don't perceive. And this was my latest little build that I did off stream that I haven't shown anybody yet, is Harvey's house. And because he's a doctor and he loves his coffee, he's got a little hospital outdoor area. Tech is a nuisance. Okay. I'm not sure because on my end it's showing me that the text to speech is picking me up and that it is outputting correctly as well. And I double checked the microphone and it is grabbing the correct thing. So I think it must be something to do with maybe going on a different Twitch channel, or I don't know if it's running it to my stream. I'm not really sure. I could always I want to to be accessible for folks. I could always pull up Pixel Chat and just use my for now. Let's see if I can get that to work. Oh my gosh! Nova! Nova, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. I can hear the audio of the game seems to be being a little funky too. Hopefully it's not because I have too many things open trying to sort out the captions. Thank you for the love and support, Nova, to the It Gets Better page. That's amazing. Dylan, Sulky, Chris, Logan, Joopy, I hope that you enjoy your access to the It Gets Better emotes. Okay. If I edit this and do that. And then give me 1 second. Sorry, y'all. I just want to make sure that everyone can access the stream. But I'm not remembering how to copy this over. Oh yes, here we go. Now I got it. No, you're all good. I know that the Twitch captions can be a little feisty. That's partially why I use the Pixel Chat. It might be something for us to consider moving forward. Just because then it can be seen by whoever's streaming that it is for sure working. Instead of having to like chat to rely on. Okay, let's see. Now if I go over here, then testing captions, not quite. That's so weird. Testing captions. Now, why would my Pixel Chat captions not be working? Oh, I bet because the other captions is pulling my... Yep, okay. Got it. Got it. And then let's just put a nice dark background. Make sure that's working. There we go. Okay, I don't know if that'll be perfect, but at least now for sure folks can see those captions and I can see that they're working, so gotta do a little work and lurk. No worries, have a good day, Unwarranted Commentary, and hello, Fierce Exolotl. Alright, I think that should solve it. So now y'all should be able to see those captions at the bottom of the screen. Again, Paper, thank you for letting us know and also helping us test the secondary options too. I appreciate that. I do. Yeah, so this is my little island, and I'm gonna go over to the DLC, and we're gonna pick something to kind of work on today together, and then that way we can have some chit chats about life and identity, and I can tell you all a little bit about myself now that we have the captions sorted. Oh, Toasty, you're always wanting to bother us. By the way, y'all, if you don't know, Toasty in chat is my partner. So theoretically, if they wanted to, they could come do that. I do not want to do the May Day event, actually. I don't. I must inform you that you inspired me. Yay! Menji, let's go. Alyssa, thank you for the follow, friend. Hello. How are you today? Alright. Let me get my brain back on track, because you know how tech issues can be. I want to go to work. I hate that they call it work, though. I don't actually want to go to work. I just want to go play. I just want to go decorate things. What an excellent donut boy. He's being a good little lad today. I gave him some catnip to see if we could get chill vibes, snoozing donuts, and it seems to be working. Did you get the same one that I have, Minji, or did you find a different one on Etsy that you liked? I have to go to work. I would rather not. It has been a minute since I've played the Animal Crossing DLC, so I'm excited. I also noticed the Switch audio is either being really quiet or being weird. Oh, yeah, it's there. The TikTok audio voice, listen. You all know we simply think in TikTok audios these days. You all know. I found one on Etsy and now I'm inspired to do my own stickers. Cute. I'm glad that I can find more people who like are excited by digital planning, because for me, I know it's like so much more of an accessible option. Oh, I missed what he said. Oops. I'm not that good at reading in video games. Spending time at a resort sure is a great way to clear out the old mental closet, don't you think? All bad ideas and ancient embarrassments. Don't know where I keep them, punk. Wait, they're not telling me what they want me to build, actually. Oh, she's so cute. My own vacation home. I would like to do that for you. Oh, I know why. Duh. I gotta go put on my work uniform. Can't be out here working in our normal, everyday people clothes. Obviously. Good morning. I would like to work, please. And thank you. After listening to you yesterday, I felt like it was something I could try out and not overwhelm about so many things whenever it comes to a physical one. I hope it goes well. I'm excited to see some updates as to your digital journal journey. I still want to do like a planning party in our team Discord as well, as a lot of us like doing journaling and stuff. Okay. What is Leaf doing here? What are you doing here, buddy? I think we're gonna build for public speaking, big city life, bamboo, camping, messy. Not the messy. What does Leaf do? I want to ask him what he's doing here. Oh. Guide you to the school? Sure. I could do that. Probably gonna get a cutscene, but that's okay. Lolly's very cute. She wants like a public speaking thing. I don't know what I would build for that though. I think we might do the one with the bamboo, just because that sounds up my alley in terms of design style. Oh, we're in my school! Well, I guess you guys are getting a peek at my school that I built. I don't know, I'm in like some kind of class about flowers. Although I would love to be in a plant class, but I don't have any plants because I can't keep them alive. Yes, yes, yes. I took our, oh, oops. Oh, I wasn't listening to the lesson. Oops. I think I can guess the correct answer. It's all good. It's all good. I didn't know I was going to have to take the class. I thought I was just bringing Leaf to the school to teach the other folks. Donuts, everybody's saying hi to you. He won't move. If he's schnoozing, I can say his name, and most likely he won't. He doesn't care. Everyone says they love you. If I wasn't listening, I never listen. I never listen to the game dialogue. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst, actually. I'm a bad listener. They made a command for donuts. Yes. I stole the one from our channel and added a little something something for everyone here, and I was like, let's have a little donuts. Okay, I think we're gonna build for this little guy, because I think a little bamboo place would be quite cute. Plant me one? Yeah. Leave it to me, I got it. Did he just call me a rookie? I am an expert designer. I don't know what you mean. Yeah, he just wants some bamboo items. That's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Alright. Where would bamboo make sense? That has a lot of the growing moss, which I quite like with a bamboo vibe. That one's kind of nice. Oh, that one has bamboo already around it. Should we do a 4x4 build? I know people have been doing that as a challenge. We could do our own little 4x4 build. We could. I don't know why none of my pictures are uploaded. Look, they all look empty. But I definitely designed these. Okay, let's do the bamboo one. Wherever that went. I've lost it. Oh no. Because it's behind my camera, so I can't, like... Or I kind of... I like this one. My wife has informed me that the DLC for Cozy Grove dropped today. Let's go! Cozy Grove is one I haven't tried yet, but I've heard very good things about. Could you be in a different season? I think they can do multiple houses for different seasons. I can't. Ooh, I don't know. If you don't have it yet, you may want to wait for something. Maybe. Wait, what does that mean? I don't know what the secrets are, Kat. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, this is gonna be cute. I think this is gonna look good. Yes, have a little snack break, buddy. I think this is gonna look really good with bamboo, even though it didn't have a bamboo background. I'm a fan. I'm suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. But you're already being suspicious. Oh. Oh, maybe I just unlocked the... I think I just, unlocked the half wall thingy. The partition wall. My wife is working on a thing. I don't even know if I'm allowed to hint at her. I might have helped her with a thing or two. I love that game, so... I have so many questions. I'll ask them later. I'm very bad at these types of things where it's like I have a hint of information but not enough. That's quite cool. I don't know if we're going to be able to do a 4x4 with a partition though. Unfortunately. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. Maybe. That was where my brain was at. Mayhaps. I was like, maybe Anemic is talking about the game development. Alright, cool. Sweet. So we're going to decorate our little house. And I think that this would be the perfect backdrop to have some lovely cozy chats. Oh gosh, it's been so long since I played the DLC. Y'all are going to have to bear with me as I navigate remembering what the buttons are. But I thought this would be a very cozy backdrop, just me kind of building to our chats today. So it is all of the hype in the world. It is Lesbian Visibility Day today, and that had kind of inspired me to want to have a conversation about my I feel like the game audio in my ears is like delayed. It's quite strange, but I'm just gonna roll with it. But it keeps throwing my little brain off. I thought, what a better thing to chat about than my own experience coming to terms with my lesbian identity, because I feel like it was quite the journey, to be honest. It was quite the journey to get here. I used to identify differently. I used to identify as pansexual, and for a really long time I was identifying that way, but I really wasn't sure if that was correct. I just was kind of going with it because I didn't know what would be better. And I wanted to talk about that because I've had some experiences in the past where there's a lot of pushback on my own identity from folks within or outside of the community. And I don't know if any of you are in a similar position where mayhaps you have had like a combination of identities that people perceive to quote unquote not make sense. And I think that it can be really difficult to be hold on, I need to remember how to customize things when we're in the DLC, but I will sort that out later. Thank you, Toasty. And this is a open. I'm very comfortable answering questions, or if any of you have experiences that you want to bring to the table that you want to share, as we're having chats, because I know I can't be the only one who has a combination of identities that people don't really understand, whether that's the same as me being a non-binary lesbian or a different combination that folks still just like kind of don't get it. Maybe ask interesting questions, have interesting judgments. Okay, I like that as a little bed foot end. That's quite cute, actually. But I don't want it to be red. Can I make the bed not red? I know there's a way. X. Oh, there's no variations on that note. But why does it have a paintbrush then? What? I've been doing a lot of work just to set down the perceptions or expectations of others and do what's right for myself in terms of expressions and labels. And it's actually like surprisingly difficult. It took me a really long time. I don't know why I keep saying that. I want to see. Maybe it's the location I'm standing in. Hold on. Mayhaps that's the reason why. Yeah, it is. Okay. I've got it sorted. I don't know if I like any of these colors though. I guess the brown one would probably be the most ideal. Push you out of the way. So, first of all, I want to say when I was trying to come to terms with my identity, one of the things that was like kind of at the forefront of my mind was this concept that there was really no identity that was like a commonly known identity label that felt right, because even how much our society has grown, there's still a lot of ways in which sexuality labels are still built around binary gender. And so even when I was identifying as pansexual, it really didn't feel 100% correct, mostly because of my gender, but also because of my asexuality too. Both of those things felt like they added a big amount of complexity to identifying and finding like a label that works for myself. And while I know that like having a label isn't required, and that, you know, it's perfectly okay to also just kind of vibe and maybe say you're queer and just kind of go with the punches with that, but like for me, I really, really value like community care. I think that comes from coming from like a disability perspective. And I felt like the best way to find community was, you know, via figuring out a label that would work best. So that is why it was important to me personally. I wanted a label. I feel affirmed and connected to my community, and am more easily able to find people like me by having one. So I knew I wanted one, but I also knew that none of them were perfect, and that I was going to have to be okay with maybe having a slightly imperfect label. But it was like, which one was best of all the options out there for me? And so I know, for instance, that there are specific niche, like micro labels, such as like Trixic and things like that, that are specifically for like non-binary folks. But for me, that didn't really feel right, because I want to be able to communicate with folks every day in my life, IRL, about my identity, and unfortunately right now those labels still just don't have the most visibility, and that is in and of itself its own problem. And I'm not saying that obviously anyone who wants to use those labels, like, more power to you, but for me, I think that that was just not going to give me exactly what I was looking for, because I wanted that connection piece. I wanted that I wanted to be able to say my identity, and for the most part, for people to have a general inkling of what that meant, and not have to be an educational role every single time. Yeah, no, Epic, I took a really long time to say my identity out loud, because there was a lot of judgments of having a complex identity within the lesbian community. There are like niche groups of people who really don't care for it, and it makes it really difficult to find the confidence to say out loud. I know many times I got negative feedback, even just kind of vaguely expressing that I kind of wanted to come out as a lesbian, but that I had these complexities within my identity, and so that made it hard to be out and proud and excited to share it. Made it very difficult and daunting. But I recognized at some point that there had to be other people like me, and I had this platform, and I really wanted to validate, really wanted to be there and validate folks who might be in a similar position to me, and let them know that they're not alone. So that's me being the people pleaser kind of person that I am. It was easier to come out for the concept of others, I guess, than it was necessarily for myself. I rarely say I'm a non-binary bi-lesbian, because hate even within the queer community is horrendous. Yeah, and that's a topic I definitely want to touch on today about, like, I'm gonna put the lo-fi music back on, because I realize oh no, wait, I can't tell if the Animal Crossing music is, I think it just needs to go up a little bit. Okay, I was like, why is it not working? I think it is, it's just I had the volume quite low. I've known in recent years I found myself really trying to explore my labels, and thankfully I found myself in a comfortable place to do so, but I know I used to, and still to an extent, feel stuck and feel like I'm figuring out labels that I'd fit best with me overall. I know in high school, especially early college, I got backlash for identifying as asexual, even though I had a child early in college, right? And a lot of people have preconceived notions about what some of that stuff, you know, what certain identities mean, and they have a really a very like small conception of what it could possibly be. And so like in the case of asexuality, a lot of people really only perceive it in terms of like sexual acts and not in terms of correctly in terms of, you know, sexual attraction. So you can have a baby and still identify as ace, right? But people don't know that, so then they're quick to judge. Do I want? I kind of like this dresser a lot better than the dresser that's like made to go with this bed. These same people couldn't comprehend the concept of non-binary lesbians and now understand and are back and forth IDing as one. They have a lot of internalized stuff that they project at me because I'm more comfortable with myself than they think the grass is greener on the other side. Internalized queerphobia is a big, complicated part of all of the judgment that people receive for choosing to identify however suits them best. And so I do think we try to have some empathy while at the same time recognizing we owe no one forgiveness if they've harmed us. If we aren't in that place to give them it. In terms of labels bringing me to community, my non-binary lesbian label has helped me find safe people and safe spaces I know are affirming, but it still stings when you run into communities that are not. Yes. For me, it's like almost an instant, it's almost like an instant way to identify if someone has some harmful beliefs to share my identity, because people will come out quick to tell you that they have an issue with how you choose to identify if you have a complex identity label that they have preconceived notions about. It can be like kind of a nice little radar, to be honest, but it does still sting. It's not like you don't want to be harmed, but at the same time it's nice to just kind of, I don't want to build relationships with people who create this notion of them being quite inclusive and then I find out later that they're really not, you know. And then the thing that added, hi Beginning, welcome in. The thing that added like some difficulties for me was the lesbian label felt better than the pan label after a bit of time of reflecting upon myself. But I also knew that it was also imperfect. And I knew that there were segments of the community that would not like the fact that I don't fit perfectly within their conception of what lesbianism is supposed to look like. So for me personally, if you asked me, if I trusted you and you asked me more specifics about what I identify as, I would say that I personally identify as trans for trans, or T for T first, and a lesbian second, which for me is like the first and foremost most important thing for me is I'm most comfortable being in a relationship with another person who identifies as trans or gender nonconforming or non-binary, anything within that realm. And that's because in my own personal intimate relationships, I don't want to be, I'm an educator within my content creation journey, but also before I became a content creator, I worked in education. And within my own relationship, I don't want to be forced to educate my partner on the basics of, you know, transness, on trans joy, trans liberation, trans, you know, policies in the government that are harming us, all of this stuff. I don't want to be in that position within my relationships. I'm comfortable doing that, you know, as a content creator. I am comfortable doing that, you know, as an educator in those spaces. But I want to come home at the end of the day and and be at ease with myself and with whoever I am sharing space with on a day-to-day basis. Okay, Toasty, that's fair, but only by my own choice, you know, not all the time, which I think is what it would be if I was in like a relationship with like a cis man, who can't understand the marginalization, like being from a marginalized gender, you know. I always felt, at least if I did date a woman, who was not gender non-conforming or non-binary or trans in any way, like at least that person would have some kind of experience with being marginalized for their gender. It will be different than the trans experience, obviously, but I think the level of education that would need to go on to help them understand a little bit of what I go through would be less. And so I identify as trans for trans first, which means I do date and comfortably date trans masc and trans men if they're okay with my identity label. I would never, date someone who it made them uncomfortable. That would just be silly. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Obviously, we wouldn't probably even approach each other if my own identity would make them feel very dyswork or uncomfortable. And I can completely understand how that would be for some folks, and I would never push those limits, you know? But I have 2 trans masc partners right now, who have no problems with my personal identity, and it works out just fine for us, and we're very comfortable, and I think that is the most important part, right? Like, it's oh wait, that changed. Hold on, I don't know if I want that. I think when it comes to your labels, the most important part is are you comfortable with it, first and foremost, and then are the people that you're choosing to build relationships with, are they comfortable with it? And if the answer for both of those things is yes, then there's really no reason that, like, people on the internet or people in your real life who aren't a part of your relationships should have any say in how you navigate, identity within your own relationships. Which is a scary thing to say, right? I'm like trying to design, but my brain is in this conversation more than the design. So bear with me if this little Animal Crossing thing comes out, a little questionably. But like, ultimately, those people really have no stake in the game, right? They're being what's happening is they're gatekeeping, right? They're gatekeeping a label. They want some sort of authority over a label, like, as it wholly stands, like, and it's like, that's not anybody's place, right? That's not how this works. I think I can do this. Oh yeah, okay. I think that's quite cute. I don't know about how I want to structure this room, but I'm getting the pieces out that I want, at least. So, like, I used to identify as pansexual, but at the time my understanding of that label was essentially, dating regardless of gender. And gender did matter to me. Gender identity did matter to me in my relationships, because it mattered to me that I, was dating a fellow trans person, or at least someone who comes from a marginalized gender. So it did matter. So for me, that just didn't quite feel right to identify as pan. So then I started identifying as a lesbian. But it took me a long time, because this idea that I was trans for trans first was not something that a lot of people who are not trans could understand. So then some folks within the lesbian community feel very uncomfortable with me because I, am comfortable and willing to date trans masc folks or trans men. And that's not a common experience among lesbians, and I understand that, but I would only wish for more people to be understanding and open to the fact that someone might have the same identity label as you, and that doesn't mean that they experience that particular identity the same way. The only way to really fully get to know someone's queer identity and get to know that person is to ask each individual person how they connect with that label. Because they're just tools. They're not hard and fast rules. They're tools for us to find community and connection and not, yeah, I said what I said. I'm just gonna repeat myself, but because I had that aspect of myself, I really felt like I would be judged if I expressed my identity, and so it took me a long time and a lot of soft muting and blocking and unfollowing people who had really problematic ideas, really gatekeepy ideas about being a lesbian, because I needed that safety before I could feel comfortable really expressing myself and what I had been feeling behind the scenes. And I've appreciated certain people who have come and really been an ally to me, really have come out and been very supportive, and let me know for sure hey, I'm still in your corner, you are valid the way that you are, and that I am not gonna gatekeep this identity from you, even though just because it doesn't fit 100% perfect. My wife is trans, and I feel like she's the one who helped me feel comfy claiming the lesbian label, but I wonder if I'd feel the same if I were in a relationship with a non-binary / masc person. Yeah, no, I think it added complexities. It added conversations that I had to have with the people in my life and make sure that they were comfortable and they were okay with where I was at with things, and that I didn't I needed them to make sure that they understood that I didn't consider them women light, right? Because I was a lesbian doesn't mean that I wasn't fully accepting of them as trans masc, as trans men, because I know that is an experience that trans masc folks have a lot, and to have it happen via your partner, I know could be just very, very, very traumatic and harmful, and I would never ever want to contribute to that, right? So I had to make sure that was super clear to the people who were important to me and the people who I was dating and people who I consider dating in the future as well. I want them to know that I see you for fully who you are, and this label that I hold, I know it's imperfect and doesn't represent our relationship 100% accurately. I'm aware of that, and is it okay if we move forward with that awareness and just accept that together? And that has worked out well for me so far, and I'm happy that everybody in my life who I've connected with in a kind of romantic relationship kind of way has been open and understanding to the fact that my label doesn't perfectly align with our relationship. And I've gone so deep, I'm looking at my little talking points list of I didn't stray on track, so I'm what, did I miss anything? Yeah, one of the things I wrote down was for a long time I saw, and I touched on this, but maybe not fully, I saw a lot of folks who had a lot of negativity, like negative thoughts towards like he, him lesbians, or lesbians who had any attraction to like masked folks whatsoever, which I don't agree with, but it made it very difficult when I think we don't talk enough about how challenging it is when your own community, the queer community, comes at you with judgments. Like, that is more painful of an experience than I think any experience that I have had with, you know, a person who's cis het coming at me with some kind of negativity, because for that I can just narrow it down to, you don't understand, you've never gone through this, it's not great, but at least I can get it. But when it comes from someone within your own community, it's very hurtful. It's very, very hurtful, because you know that they've probably been judged in their life, and yet they're still taking the time to put that judgment on you, just because you hold an identity or a combination of identities that they don't fully understand. They aren't giving that empathy. I'm reading a book right now by Brene Brown called I Thought It Was Just Me, but it wasn't, and it's all about shame resilience, and what they talk about as the kind of counterbalance to shame is like understanding and empathy. Queerlybee, thank you for the follow, friend. Welcome into the It Gets Better channel. I hope you're having a good day. Thank you so much for joining us. The way you're able to verbalize things always makes my brain go burr. I always feel like I'm just rambling when I'm on stream, because anyone else who streams knows the streamer brain struggle. So I appreciate the complimentary comment on my my verbalization of these things, because I swear I feel like I'm just like blah 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 saying no words, but I know I'm saying words. Hello friend, loving bee and bee brain hours. Mwah. Thank you, Laura. So I was like very scared, right? Because it's like hard to come out within like while having this awareness, right? That people had very direct criticisms of how I identify. But I finally did, and lots of people were very kind. I received less pushback than I thought. I don't know if it was because maybe, you know, people... Oop. Oh, that was an accident. Yeah, I want that. I'm trying to put it under my bed. I don't know if that's too many rugs, though. Maybe? No. You say good words, B. Thank you, Lex. I appreciate you. What am I clicking? But I wanted to, today, while we were hanging out together, I wanted to tie in this conversation that we were having that's very much rooted in my personal identity. But I wanted to expand it and have a conversation that goes beyond my experience specifically as a, you know, non-binary lesbian, and opens the floor to, you know, more of a conversation about, ooh, I think that's quite nice, actually. I also have a rug addiction. I just want to put them everywhere, and then I'm like, wait, is that way too much? Is that too much? Does that vibe? I don't know. Okay, so we've got a living room and we've got a little bedroom. They could use some more clutter, but like we're getting the basics laid out. And then I think I'm gonna build like a little bathroom, maybe back here, spa-ish kind of vibes. And then maybe like a little, I don't know, dining table or something. We'll see how much I can fit in here. I want to basically pull back a little bit from my own personal identity experience to talk about like labels, like by and large. And I know that we've had some amazing previous guests have some really great conversations about labels on this channel. I know that they've talked about how you don't have to have a label if perhaps you don't want to, and we'll touch on that as well. That's why I flew here. I didn't know people. Oh, hold on. My headphones said we'll do a little, I don't know if they died or if they just shut off or what, but I'm plugging them in case because I'm nervy. You're definitely not alone. I wish that more of us felt comfortable expressing ourselves. I think there's a lot more non-binary lesbians, non-binary sapphic folk than, you know, we realize, because a lot of us do have these negative experiences that can sometimes, you know, shy us away from expressing ourselves more openly. Do I want the dark brown wood, maybe? Mayhaps? I don't know. But I know I've got lots of really wonderful, we got Lilith, I know my friend Roro. We're out here, y'all. I think there'll be more and more of us as time goes on as well, who feel more comfortable expressing ourselves openly about how we identify. And I'm really glad that we could have this conversation on Lesbian Visibility Day, because I think it's a conversation that gets squished a lot. Like, I just don't see us having a lot of like open dialogue about this particular experience. Oh, I'm so bad at clicking the wrong buttons. I like your voice. Thank you. Oh, look at me. I'm throwing things around. It makes my little brain sad to think about how many people who are struggling with their gender identity because they only like women, or are struggling with their sexuality because they feel like their non-binariness gets in the way. Yeah, that's a good point as well, Anemic. Thank you for reminding me to touch on that for folks who don't know. It's definitely better to say NB, or actually a lot of people find the ENBY to be like infantilizing, so I know a lot of people use like this or this or this shorthand for non-binary, since NB itself is a label for folks who are non-black. The ideas of identities being simple bestie since when? I know. I don't think since ever. I think at some point the queer community started falling victim to like respectability politics and like wanting our identities to make sense to people more than focusing on what felt best for us. And I think that definitely plays a part in all of this, in that people, when I hear them gatekeeping, and you put pressure on them to explain why they're kind of gatekeeping, there's a lot of, okay, but if you don't use the label exactly how people typically understand it, and then what's the point of labels, right? If we all have different definitions of lesbian, then it somehow eliminates the value of the term lesbian. And just coming from like a perspective of someone who studied English and studied language, like words have different meanings all of the time. All of the time. So like it doesn't make any sense to, you know, say that just because we have different definitions of the word that it doesn't hold value anymore. That's just silly. That is just silly. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, I kind of like this little divider that I've made here. Half the time me in Animal Crossing is just putting stuff down, deleting it, putting stuff down, deleting it, putting stuff down, and deleting it, so... I don't even know if by the end of the next hour if we're gonna get a cohesive build, but I'm not really here for... I'll tell you a secret. I'm not really here for the Animal Crossing. That's just something for us to enjoy together in the background. I'm here for the good chats. Axolotl, thank you so much. What the heck? Thank you so much for subscribing to the It Gets Better channel. It means you will get access to the It Gets Better emotes and that you will get to hang out here with all of the other future It Gets Better ambassadors having their conversations. Yeah, no worries, Queerlybee. Have a good day. Scandalous, not here for the Animal Crossing. I know, how could I? How could I? You know, I figured we could hang out and just chatting, but then you have to just look at my face the whole time, and it might be nice to have a little something in the background. Yes, they're so cute. I like the little rainbows for emphasis sometimes. Also, welcome in, youngster. Such a good point. Many words in English have 3 or more different meanings, and it's very important to understand that labels have different meanings on different people and connotations, etc. It's just like the most beautiful thing about queerness is the way that we, like, it sounds so weird. It's like using a word in the definition of a word, but like we queer things. Like queerness at a larger scale is not fitting within the preconceived notions of the world. It is the joy of exploration. It is, you know, it is the opposite of fitting perfectly within a mold that society sets up for us. So, like, it doesn't really make sense to put that back on ourselves within our own community, you know? To challenge society's norms, exactly. And, within that, why would we, you know, backpedal, essentially, and go backwards in forcing people to fit in to a norm? That doesn't make any sense. Vibe into the tunes as well as the chats. Let's go. We love some good Animal Crossing background noise. Let's see. I think I need, like, I don't know if I have, what is it sorting based off of? Alphabetical type. I want it to sort based off type, mayhaps. And then I'm looking for, like, a toilet and stuff. Mayhaps. Hi, Nika, welcome in. Because otherwise we wouldn't be able to do the work we want to / need to in educating others and decolonizing spaces. Yes, indeed. Oh, I'm passing it. Oh, wait, I see it. Okay, I should have seen what the variations were. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong buttons again. Oi, bee. Get it together and click the right things. So, like, this push to make labels super perfectly understandable for everybody feels like a kind of a backwards move to me personally. Oh. Please, Animal Crossing, just be kind to me. For all I can ask of you is to just... There we go. That's all I wanted to do. I don't really know what this little thing is for, but it looks cute, so I kind of wanna... I wonder if I have access to the, like, stone hot bath thing. I know we have this one, but that's not quite what I'm looking for. I'm doing good today, Mika. I'm doing good. I'm really appreciating the space to be able to talk about this, because for the longest time I was really anxious and really insecure about talking about this exact subject. This exact subject scared me because I had this identity and I had this role as a content creator where anything I talk about becomes very public, and I didn't know how it would be received. And even up until today, you can ask my partner, I was like, you know, some people within the queer community themselves really don't care for this particular conversation, and I was scared that somebody would be upset with me. My people pleaser coming out again, right? Somebody would be upset with me and I would have to figure out how to navigate that. Upset because of my identity that doesn't affect them whatsoever, you know? But unfortunately, that doesn't really seem to matter. Sometimes people still have a lot to say about others' identities, so I really appreciate that everyone has been kind and understanding and open to learning about something different, and then for those who hold the same identity as me and have expressed the, you know, appreciation of having someone talk about their same identity, I appreciate that as well, because that was exactly what I was hoping for, and that was what made the anxiety of it all, like, worth it, you know? I was like, it'll be worth it if it helps somebody. And it seems like it might have, so. I don't like how this rug, I love this leaf rug. I don't want to give her up, but I don't want her to go into the walkway. Mayhaps like that, but then the table is like, maybe like this. I don't know. That's quite squished, but maybe we make the build quite small, squished kind of vibe. Maximalism. I identify as demi-femme and my partner is non-binary, but we both identify as lesbians. Let's go, Mika. It's so nice to meet more people. I definitely had some good beans in my corner already, but it's still exciting to meet more folks who have a similar experience. Ooh, maybe we can find a plate that, like, ooh, I like that one. I think this one is very good. Donuts looks so comfy today. I gave him catnip and he said, I'm out. Like a light. I said, can you be cute for our It Gets Better stream? And he said, bet. He said, I gotcha. Do not worry. So, and all that being said, that, like, the beauty of labels is, you know, messing with the labels, is exploring, is being inquisitive, is, you know, Donuts is showing support. Listen, you know what the funny thing is that Donuts, every single time we open our closet, Donuts will climb into the back of the closet and hang out there. If I leave the closet door open, he'll even hang out there, like, when we're not in there. And I think that's so funny because we always heckle him. We're like, Donuts, this is an LGBT household. Like, you can come out of the closet. Like, you don't need to hide in the closet. And he still hides. So, it's funny. He's out here showing his support today. Maybe Donuts has something he has to tell us, but he hasn't told us yet. We're exposing him. It's okay. It's okay. I think he'll make it. I wonder if having like a little stack of firewood would be quite cute, since there's like a wood burning stove right there. He's reclaiming that comfy space. Let's go. He's quiet. Okay. I don't know. And with all of that to be said, about identity labels and all of that, I think one of the things that I want to remind folks of, and I feel like it's very cheesy. I'm not gonna lie, it feels very cheesy, but I feel like it can't be affirmed too many times, so I will say it again anyways, is this idea that, like, you can have any labels that make you feel comfortable, whether they make sense to other people or not. Whether you have no labels or micro labels where people don't know those words yet, and that what makes you comfortable. And we have one label and you just say you're queer, or you have many different things that you like to refer to yourself as, and you really like getting into those details. All of that is 100% fine. And maybe you even do different things in different spaces on different days, depending on what you have the spoons and energy for. Like, I know myself, like, sometimes I'll say I'm just queer, and sometimes I'll go all the way into it and really explain it to someone who I care about, who I want to have a better understanding of me. You know, I always say I've had friends in the past who don't identify as queer and, you know, maybe misgender me. And my experience with it has always been, you know, I'm not going to, my identity is strong. I'm comfortable with myself. I'm not going to collapse because you use the wrong pronouns for me. I recognize that I present very femininely, and that results sometimes in people misunderstanding my identity. But if you want to be close to me, if you have expressed that you want to develop a close relationship with me, then understanding my queerness is a barrier. It's an opportunity, right? If you want to develop that deeper relationship with me, then you have to choose to take that time and get to know me and what queerness means specifically for me. And we can still have a relationship potentially if I choose to, even if you don't do those things. But there's a barrier, there's a limit on how much of a connection we can develop, because there's so much of me you're choosing to not understand and not connect with. And that puts a big hold on how much we can really connect, you know? Lately, I've been thinking a lot about what internally decides for me how much I go there with someone with my labels, and what it takes to access the more vulnerable parts of me in general. It's been interesting to think about, you know? I think I used to share the vulnerable parts of myself with everybody. And I can't be alone in not having really known those boundaries before, but now I think I'm deserving of holding those boundaries more strictly, so that I can be not re-traumatized every time that I interact with new people, you know? I usually just tell people I'm a trans woman. I rarely go into the nuances that are my gender. I tend to feel more comfortable talking about that with more other gender queer people. Exactly. And that for me is exactly what connects to, like, why I personally Where's my train of thought? Something Mika said has inspired me. Connects to me why I said earlier that I wouldn't want to date someone who doesn't hold a marginalized gender, right? Because it's so much more comfortable talking about those things with other genderqueer folks, other non-binary folks. It's just an easier bridge to gap. And it's not to say that I don't ever talk about it with others, but it's just something that is quite exhausting to do. And I used to think I had to be sort of the martyr for the cause. I think, Lilith, you come from an educational background too, like as an educator, whether you're like officially wherever, outside of talking about, you know, that situation, whether you're ever officially an educator, I think conceptually it's difficult to not feel like you should do the right thing and teach people to make the world a better place. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't have taken, I'm here, I'm on the It Gets Better channel, I'm literally here talking about educational things to open the world up to more identities, to have these conversations, but on my terms. In the past, I think it was on other people's terms, and I'm glad I'm not at that place anymore, where I'm doing it on other people's terms. I want to have this. That's quite cute, I think. I still think a rug is needed, but I am very not pleased with my rug options right now. Those little shoes on the floor by the bed. Or maybe I'll put them like by the door. I'm gonna put a table over there though. I don't know. I don't know. People who, the educator, and me and the queer theorist thinking it's my responsibility to take on those conversations. And I think we hold so many different roles in life, and it can be hard to put the role down, right? So like, am I in this moment acting as educator B, educator Lilith, or whomever you are, advocate B, or in this moment, am I in my, let's use my Twitch space, for example. Am I sitting in my own Twitch space, like in the comfort of my own community, not at all talking about queerness, and someone is asking me to do this work and I'm not in the mood to do it right now? Like, what role am I holding in this moment? Was the conversation open to that, or did someone just kind of barge in demanding my labor? And that's been a very new thing to learn, that I don't have to have this educator role always, you know? Oh, I keep clicking the wrong buttons, I swear. Here we go. This one. I want to find some places to add color to our build. Is an educator magnet? I think it's just probably the way that we communicate is a little bit different than everyone else, so then we naturally kind of link. People who aren't cis, I feel like understand my feelings around gender than cis people, and I have much more intellectual conversations. Yeah, like we can get into the nitty-gritty of things because there's a basic fundamentals understanding of certain concepts that I don't have to get into, whereas with others, I feel like I'm always stuck at 101. Like, I absolutely did not want to do that again with this particular opportunity I had before me, to engage with the It Gets Better program and to do these ambassador streams. I was really excited. We were allowed to pick whatever topic that we like really wanted to, and then like we could, that included, can I not hang things on, can I not hang things on the wall, the sideways wall? Because that's very sad. It seems like mayhaps I cannot. And I don't like it, Picasso. Oh, oops. No, you can't. Oh, dang it. That's like a very missed opportunity on their part. I guess I should have looked at the size of the room before I... Oh, don't break things, B. I'm breaking things. I'm gonna leave it as it is. Especially in spaces where it's supposed to be relaxing and spending time off work on holidays and family members, for example, it's not always the time you want to spend explaining basic concepts when Google is free. And you know, I was recently, you know, forced to think a little bit about that Google is free concept, and this is not at all like a criticism of you, Anemic, because I literally even have an exclamation point Google command in my chat, so like don't at all feel bad when I say this, but I think, why am I not able to click the buttons to design right now? What have I done here? Okay, here we go. In that, recognizing that like Google, if you don't come from a background in like share the same values as we do, that your Google search is not going to bring up the things that we're hoping it will, if that makes any sense. How do I get this painting off the wall? I'm just over here clicking a million buttons and it's like not giving me what I want it to give me. And I'm like, hello? I don't know how to get back to the part where it lets me work on the walls. Hi, Puffs! No, I didn't see the video. I think it was a fellow streamer, actually. I want to say it was the Proud Owl. Zeki, but I could be wrong, made that important point of like, you know, just sending people to Google isn't maybe the safest strategy. I'm genuinely confused as to, oh, there we go, okay. I was like, where is the button to do the thing? Please, thank you. Okay. Puffs, how's your day going today, Sweet Bean? Welcome on in, I hope you're having a good one. Is like not the safest strat, because they're probably not going to get the answer that you're hoping that they'll get by sending them to Google. But I do think I've come to this place where I've learned that it doesn't always have to be me, right? So the fact that they should learn better, and that I hope that they learn better in certain situations when someone's being harmful, doesn't mean that I'm necessarily obligated to be the person that teaches them that particular day. And that you can sometimes point people to resources without necessarily having to derail your day and what you're doing and give them a ton of your emotional energy by simply just pointing them in the direction of a safe and accurate resource. And if they choose to look at it, then they'll learn. And if they don't, they probably weren't coming from the most, you know, genuine, a lot. I mean, there's a lot of bad apples out there who act as though they're here to learn and they want to get something out of the conversation, when really they have no intention of changing their perspective, no intention of learning from the queer folks who are putting in this labor. And if you point them into the direction of a good resource and they don't take it and they don't learn from it, they probably weren't going to learn from anything that you were going to say to them anyway, and at least you didn't expend all of your emotional labor. Now, if you like educating and if you're in the headspace to do so and you want to, and it seems like that person is someone who's genuinely interested in learning, you know, run with it. I don't discourage anybody from, absolutely don't discourage anybody from, you know, wanting to educate others to be better. In fact, a lot of times I'm in that position. A lot of times I enjoy teaching, but just not always, and that it should be on my terms is something new that I'm learning. I want to look at like the other ceiling options. Here we go. Put something in the living room. There we go. There we go. Having queer friends, in this case particularly non-cis friends, to discuss things like identity with seems very helpful. I have only recently started to realize that I don't always feel like a boy/man just because I hang out around queer spaces on Twitch, whereas most of my friends in my immediate circle, IRL, are cishet. Yeah, like a lot of people came to terms with their queer identity via Twitch. Like that is one of the biggest, most beautiful things I think of, I think that's one of the most beautiful things to be said about the queer spaces that so many queer content creators hold. When will Animal Crossing give me a tool similar to the tool in The Sims where I can shrink rugs down to an appropriate size? Please and thank, I request. If someone from Nintendo is listening, please give. I think that'll work quite good though. I wonder if there's any kind of circle tables I can use. Super valid point, because there's so much information out there. And I think also the thing that I learned from that post in Numic too was that like Google is free kind of mentality can be a very privileged mentality, and I realized I was even doing it myself, so it's not a criticism. We repeat it because it's heard, you know, we've heard it before and things like that, but like I have had access to education and not everybody else has had access to that same educational background that I got access to, and that is important to remember. And you know, my parents, for instance, neither of them, you know, got a college education, so they wouldn't know a lot of this stuff. And I have to be careful about how I talk to them about this kind of stuff, because it can really make them feel like I think they're stupid. Oh, that's not the best word. That's I'm trying to work ableist words out of my. It can really make them feel like I don't think that they can understand, or are willing to understand, depending on how I talk to them about it. So I try to be cautious while also pushing them, right? And while also recognizing that, like, I don't need them to have, like, they don't get away with, you know, ignorance at the same time. There are many folks I regret wasting my emotional labor on. My dad is one of them. He asked questions with such thoughtfulness. I don't think he'd have learned what he needed to learn from someone else, and I was glad it was me who... my dad is not one of them. Okay, I read that wrong. At first I was like, huh? Yeah, I mean, the benefit of having deep, close relationships with people is sometimes if we choose to, we may be the only person that they will choose to listen to. You know, it's similar to the conversation, to things like I try to have conversations about like racism and things with my family who have problematic viewpoints, because I think, I mean, for a multitude of reasons, but one of them being because I think I'm potentially the only person they will hear it from. And if there's any chance I can avoid them perpetuating future harm because they're willing to listen to me, then I will try to. But my parents also, same boat, turn around, and I also recognize that they have a tendency to be bad actors who pretend to have an interest in growing and learning, and in that moment aren't actually really all that open to listening either. So it's a difficult balancing act, right? I find myself educating my friends and family in various queer topics, and I'm seen as if I'm their resource for this info, but as you're saying, this is done on my terms, and if I don't have the spoons or I don't feel comfortable with the topic, I just try to set my boundaries respectfully. Exactly. And recognizing that different folks have different amounts of comfortability with being in that role. For me, I love talking to people if they're willing to go beyond Queerness 101. I do not want to have the same conversations that I've had 18 times with someone because they ask me for the labor and then they process it zilch and do no, like, internal reflecting, no, effort being made to learn outside of just the conversations that we're having. Then I'm like, I'm out, I'm scooting, because I don't want to have the same conversation that I've had with so many people in my life with you again. But if you seem genuinely interested and you're putting in some work on your end to understand the 101 concepts, and we're able to go beyond that, then yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. Let's have a good chat, Those are my barriers, but everybody's barriers are different. Kabloom! Hi, Kaylee. Welcome in. How are you today? Let's try these. Maybe these are nice. I think this little build is actually surprisingly coming together decently, considering we only had 2 hours together. It also comes from a place of exhaustion. Like, we are constantly asked over and over and over again to explain our identities, and that is also valid, though we can still be careful for people who are genuine and don't know where to look, etc. Yeah. No. I think it's all about trusting yourself and trusting other queer folks to make those decisions for themselves in those moments, ultimately. I think I like the rattan table. Doing okay, got some Wawa for lunch. The South loves their gas station food for sure. I think Wawa's quite big up in, like, the New Jersey area as well, because wasn't Wawa the gas station I think that Dylan would always talk about? I know this context to this conversation makes no sense if you're not Kaylee, but I tried with my parents and they just choose not to engage with the books and sites I directed them to. And Puffs, that is giving you their signal, right? Like, they're saying they want to learn, but their actions are not aligning with what they are saying. And so for me, my limit there is like, okay, you're giving me the hint, the signal that, I don't think you're really all that open to learning. Would that mean I would necessarily never approach them again? Probably not, because that's your family and, like, you may want them to understand. But if you don't care if they understand your identity, if you're not in a position where that is, like, what's really important to you, then maybe that's your signal from them that, you're going to be wasting your emotional labor. It's so hard to know unless you are the person and you are part of those relationships. But I trust others to make those decisions for themselves in their own set of circumstances. I think we're gonna do this little garden sets. Hi, Jupy. Welcome in. Someone gifted you a sub earlier, so you have more it gets better emotes. It was Nova. I hope you're having a good Tuesday. Tuesday, isn't it? It's hard to tell the signs for sure. My uncle is a bad actor. I can't do that with, unfortunately, but it's not always obvious right away. No, it sometimes does definitely take a minute to determine, like, who are those bad actors and who genuinely wants to learn. That was many moons ago, but yes, you're right. It was many moons ago, wasn't it? Even more moons for you, because lately your life has changed so much, I feel like. This little panda boy, he's like really keen on getting in my way while I'm designing his house. Like, can you not let me have a moment here to do my thing without like eyeballing me, huh? Maybe. Doesn't seem like it, so now you're getting stuck in the corner. Turn this. Not super chatty because I'm not feeling great today, but I just wanted to say that this conversation has really recharged me, and I'm grateful for the space that you created for it. Of course, Lilis. I'm sorry you're not feeling the best today, Sweet Bean, but as true with all of the spaces that I hold for myself, the space I hold here on the It Gets Better page is one that is very much come as you are. So whatever you have the bandwidth for, if that's quiet lurking, and listening in and enjoying the conversation today, then that is 100% valid. I need a little something on the table, and I think I wanted like tea. I could do maybe what variations of this are there? I do want to get a little color, so maybe something like that. No, I don't want it on the floor. Happy Lesbian Day of Visibility, everyone. Yes, let's go. And Jupy, because you're here, I'm gonna be squishy to you for a second, and you can't stop me because you can't. And I just want to say thank you so much for being like the inspiration for me to apply to the It Gets Better program. I feel like, you know, everyone has done an amazing job, but I've really been inspired along the way by seeing some of the different shows that you've put on, panels, conversations that you've had, etc. And I appreciate you. I don't know if you even know how much of an inspiration you are to me, but you are, and I appreciate you and all of the spaces you hold endlessly. Okay, I need like a shower or a tub kind of situation. Yes, I think it's very hard for me to decide the amount of emotional labor to put in, but I have a feeling that they wouldn't put in the effort to come to understand. But like Puffs, I've found family that I've been able to share my identities with more freely, and have, as a result, found myself to be so loved. Let's go. In this house, we love Jupiter. Jupiter is amazing. Yes, we do love Jupy in this house. In this house, for sure. If y'all don't know, I actually co-host a show with Jupy, and have had the wonderful pleasure of meeting them IRL. A very good bean. Overall, 10 out of 10. Let's try this. Maybe I don't really like any of the options I have here for showers and stuff. It's quite unfortunate. Maybe if I boop 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 scoot you out, boop 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 put you in here. No. Nar, that's not it. Yes, I am very glad that folks have found their people. And if you haven't found your people yet, if you haven't found your chosen family yet, just know sometimes It takes a minute, but you will find your people. I'm sure you've been told that 1,000 times, and sometimes it's hard to hear. I know, because I was you. For a long time, I felt like I didn't have my people. I didn't have that chosen family yet, and my IRL family was not cutting it. And it was a very, very difficult period of my life, but I promise it takes time, but you'll get there. I know you will. Okay, that definitely works. Yeah, that's true too as well, Anemic. I actually really appreciate you saying that, because sometimes the first chosen family you find won't be the one for you forever, and that can be for so many different reasons. It can be things that are completely outside of your control, and you may desire to still have that connection, and it doesn't stick for any reason, and that's okay as well. Don't beat yourself up for it. I've had many iterations of chosen family actually in my life. Different folks who were able to support me in that way at different points in my life, and there's just like, we can't hold on too tightly to people. Not everybody can be a part of every chapter, and it's okay to grieve the connection you had before, but to recognize that that's very normal. You didn't do anything wrong if that connection doesn't last permanently. It is a-okay. I feel like I just need like a little more something in this bathroom, but it's so narrow that like anything I put, you wouldn't really be able to get on the toilet, and I'm a little weird in my video games, and I really like a sense of realism when I'm building stuff, so if it feels like it wouldn't be functional, then I'm like, nar. I can't do it. It just looks weird to me. Let's put this maybe to block off the back. Just because like the bathroom's right by the dining area, and I don't think I really want to see someone doing their business while I'm sipping my tea, you know? Oops. Can I not fit this here? There we go. That's what I want, but like, yeah. Yeah, okay, that gives us the nice little bathroom coverage. Excellent, excellent. That's good. Y'all, I think this actually somehow turned out cute. I felt like I was very distracted, so it wasn't gonna turn out that cute, because I'm like, my brain was very, very focused on the conversation at hand, and not necessarily the Animal Crossing build. And is it like my favorite build I've ever made in my whole life? Nar, but I think it still turned out quite good. I'm quite happy with it, all things considered. Put this like, maybe I want to, because we have the tea kettle, but we don't have like a cup of tea anywhere. And I would like it like they made their tea over at the table and then brought it to sit over at the nice comfy couch. Here we go. That's actually coffee, but like, just, you know, we're gonna pretend. We're gonna have a vibe. Yeah, there we go. I think that's quite good. It's quite good. I'm half tempted to put another rug though. It's still the rugs that they're getting me. I don't, how do you place rugs that look natural? I don't understand. It's not my forte. 2x2. Yellow. Oh no, no. B loves a good rug. You know, I have to live vicariously through my video games when it comes to rugs and plants, because rugs and plants IRL are surprisingly expensive. And as someone who just recently moved and is like in their early 20s with like no spare funds, we don't get to have those things. So I will live vicariously through my video games. All right, this is quite cute. I'm quite happy with this actually. I want to take a photo. Can I pick him? I want to pick him up and move him. I think I can do that. Or I'll just hide him, I guess. Yeah, that works too. I think the living room is probably the cutest part, so I want the angle of the photo that I take to be zoomed in on that. I think that works. Right. We didn't get to work on the outside, unfortunately, because I'm a slow builder, but mayhaps we can do that on another stream, or I'll do that on my own. Either way, I think it turned out quite good. Oh, I startled the doughboy with my taps on the desk. My bad. But with that being said, our time together is kind of wrapping up. I want to go see if we have any other fellow It Gets Better ambassador folks who are potentially live that we could raid, but I wanted to take a little bit of time. I'll go over here and just express my gratitude for today. I feel like a very soft little lad. I was very nervous being the first one, you know, it being my first one as well as it being the first one for my little ambassador crew. I wanted to do a good job, and I think that the conversations were really nice. They went exactly how I hoped that they would go, and as a little neurodivergent being who really likes to kind of script out how I want to talk about things, I really appreciate when conversations flow really nice and easily, and all of you who shared your own experiences. Maybe you didn't say anything, but you just enjoyed the conversation. I hope that you had a good time as well. And at the end of the day, I hope that you all remember that when it comes to labels, what matters is if you're comfortable and the people that you are choosing to have relationships with are comfortable. And whatever anybody else thinks, it doesn't matter. They have no stake in your personal labels that you choose to identify with. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Cater Tot. I appreciate you. Thank you to all of our mods who came over from my channel to help moderate. I really appreciate you, Kat and Cole and Aries, for being here just to make sure everything was safe and everything. Let me just go see if I can figure out how to see if I can remember to see who is live from the stream team. Give me 1 second. Twitch.tv/team, I think it is, /it gets better. No, It Gets Better ambassador. I forget. This part of my brain gets mush after stream for a while. Thank you, Silky. I appreciate you. Yeah, we do have some people live. Sweet. Okay, that's awesome. All right, I see a very good bean that I'm familiar with. I see a couple good beans that I'm familiar with, so fabulous. If one of the mods wants to get !raid going, so folks have the raid lingo for this channel, that'd be amazing, and I will get us started on our way. Here we go. Excelente. Fabulous. It gets better raid. That's quite cute, actually. I like it, Picasso. Everybody say goodbye to Donuts. Donuts, say goodbye. He's asleep. He's like, why are you saying my name? Oh, look at him. He came and showed his face. Oh, big yawn. Have a good day, friends. Thank you so much for hanging out and popping by. It means the world to me. Thank you, thank you. Have a good, happy Lesbian Day of Visibility, and I will see you all next month. Keep a lookout for the channel for the other ambassadors doing their first streams, and if you have the spoons to give them the love and support that you gave me today, I would really appreciate that. And I will see you over on Violet's channel in a few. Bye, friends.